Hello, good evening, good morning. Anybody watching the replay? Thank you for watching the replay. This video is going to be sponsored by my new home-based business called Total Life Changes. I'm drinking Delgado coffee right now. I sat for like 10 minutes debating whether I should go live tonight, but there's really no algorithm in these corona times that we're in. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Tamiekasmith. I encourage dreamers to become doers of the world while unapologetically allowing your light to shine in a dark world. When you work with me, it is going to be a total life glow up. I am an author of three books so far. I am also what you call a midwife to help other people push their books out, their book babies out as well. So, and I'm a certified life coach as well. I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, and I'm still working a 9 to 5. So I'm doing all this stuff, right? And so, this is for, God willing, and God gonna do it. And I'm gonna claim it on live that I'm getting off this 9 to 5. So a little bit of story time for y'all. Let's get into these comments on today. And we on Periscope. We're live on my YouTube channel, and we're also live on Facebook. We're gonna let Facebook join on in with us. Please comment, share, swipe, and invite, all that good stuff. We're gonna do some church announcements as I go through this story. And the first thing is, please support the latest project. Talk about, a book midwife. My sister, my dear friend, Victoria Nicole Washington, and her latest book called No Longer on Mute. And she's definitely no longer on mute. And she has a beautiful testimony and a powerful book that you all need to purchase. No Longer on Mute.com. No Longer on Mute.com. Literally, No Longer on Mute.com. She is. And I love her so much. And if you purchase her book, because I know she ain't going to say it, but I'm going to say it. If you purchase the book, you're going to get it. All right, y'all, let's not, my sister has been through a lot. Let's not worry her for a few dollars. No Longer on Mute.com. You're going to get your book. Amen. Amen. So enough of that. So a little introduction. We did all that. And so just looking at this outline, because I got 30 minutes. And so I'm not going to be on here long and drawn out. The whole title of this broadcast on tonight, this morning, whatever you want to call it, is called Your Voice Matters. Your Voice Matters. And so, I've written a few books so far, like I said, and with writing the books, it came from a testimony, and I could have went on with my life and not share my testimony with anybody and just did what I did. But I knew that my story was not my own, and somebody needed to hear it. And so some of y'all heard this testimony before, some of y'all not, some of y'all are new. But I have been, the books have been out for quite some time. And I think it's funny how, I haven't really been pushing and marketing my books as I could, but, the books are still being purchased, praise God. And I'm so thankful for it. And the story, I'm not sharing it as much because, life goes on, time progress, you get healed, but some people are still dealing with, abuse. And, I will have a nonprofit one day, and something that I've learned, because I've seen so many people struggle in their nonprofits, I would rather have the profits from my business to help fund my nonprofit in the future. But anyway, for those who don't know, I was in an abusive relationship. I was in an abusive relationship for nearly 5 years. And, I can wear a smile well. And, as I was going through it, I was wearing a smile, but I was hurting. I was hurting mentally. I was hurting physically and spiritually. I was hurt. I was mentally tormented. I was physically tormented in several ways. And that what, the thing that I went through, the situations that I went through, and I was able to survive because there were several, near death situations from that. I was able to have the courage to write about that story, a chapter which happened to be a book in my life. And it's so important, especially those that are believers, to understand that you can't change a person that don't want to change themselves. And I wasn't married to, my children's father, and people are still getting abused to this day. Every minute, basically, 20 people are getting abused in their homes. So as we are dealing with these quarantine times, it's not a safe house for everybody. It's not a safe house for everyone. Children are getting abused as well, and tormented as well. And so we gotta say our prayers. And more than just say our prayers, we gotta have some action behind it too. What do you do when somebody comes to you and tells you that they're in an abusive relationship, when they're not in a safe house? You just say, oh, I'll pray about it, and just keep on going. And some people understandably don't want to get involved because it can be dangerous too. And you gotta, I guess, pick and choose your battles, because I do believe that when we say that what goes on in his house stays in his house, it can be very traumatic when you say stuff like that, because somebody, especially when we have, how can I say, we have a responsibility as people, in a community, people in a family, if something is not going right in the house, to speak up about it, and to talk about it. People, get molested, things go on in houses. Somebody's being tormented right now. So what do you do when somebody tells you, I'm going through this? Can you be that listening ear? As an advocate of abuse, and listening to other people, share their testimonies, or they could still be going through a situation, you have to understand that it's not you looking at it from the outside in. It's not just you just saying what you would do, what you wouldn't deal with, whatever. It's about you just simply being a listening ear, because that's important for somebody that is being victimized at the time. But, let's see, trying to think. So as far as me in my situation, with the abuse, because it was something that happened, and it happened for nearly 5 years. And it took a power of a decision for me to get out of that relationship, full throttle, and not looking back. The only time we need to look back at situations and traumatic, it don't have to be, necessarily domestic violence, but any traumatic situation is just as a reference point of something that you may have went through, and a reference point to say, hey, I went through this, but look at me now. And look at how far I have come, and be okay with it, and not living in shame, not living in fear. And that was another reason why I decided to write a book, because I know that this is something that, still goes on to this day, even though I've moved on, even though life went on. And so when you tell your story, it's not about you. It is about the story, but it's about somebody that needs to hear your testimony. It's about, okay, I went through it, I lived through it, I healed through it, and we're whole from it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because somebody needs to hear my testimony. You can build somebody else's faith by telling your story. You can build somebody else's faith by you being you. You know, the lovely thing about, you know, being an influencer, or if you want to call it that, being a public figure, if you want to call it that, or whatever you want to call it. I'm Tamika being Tamika, which happened to be gifted from that and from other things. But as far as you telling your testimony is to help somebody else, it's not about you. And even if you're dealing with a situation right now, it's a situation. How you're going to sit in it. Are you going to sit in it, or are you going to get out of it? And how are you going to get out of it? How are you going to answer that problem that you're dealing with? Because we're created to be problem solvers. So let's be a problem solver and not dwell so much in a situation to where we can't figure out how to get out of a situation. And when you do that, that gives you empowerment, that gives you confidence, that gives you, you know, some know-how, how to get out and how to be better. We don't have to be broken. We don't have to be bitter. We can say, okay, that happened. It's time to go on with life. And that may take some therapy. All this traumatic stuff that's going on, you need to talk to somebody in these days and time, because it's a lot, you know. And none of us are doing this thing called life on our own, even though it may feel like it. So I'm on here late at night, you know, working on a couple things, and I just wanted to get on also, just to let somebody know that your voice matters. Your story matters, and you matter. And you matter. It's going to work out. It may look like the end of the world, and I've been in several situations, so I'm not just talking to y'all just to be on here live so y'all can look at me, but to really say with confidence and faith that it's going to work out. You don't have to give up on life. I've, you know, dealt with depression, you know, going through abuse. There was some post-traumatic stuff because it was very traumatic. At one point, I mean, I've written about it in my books. I was in a shelter for 10 months, you know, but to God be the glory. To God be the glory. And my question to you all tonight is, how do you want your 7-8, because it is the 8, 7-8 2021 to look like? You can look at your situation, whatever your situation is, whatever your it is right now, because everybody has an it. No matter how pretty you paint the picture, no matter how pretty you put on some makeup and your wigs and whatever, and your timelines and your pretty curated pictures, everybody's dealing with an it. None of us have really arrived. None of us have. Because at the end of the day, I know I, for one, want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. And so you got to think about where you want to be, not get so caught up in the here and the now, not so caught up in life. It's going to happen. Life happens to everybody. So I just ranting and all that good stuff. But, you know, just like the domestic violence, for example, just like the abuse, you know, I could have been bitter and the what people label as the angry Black woman, but what good would it do me? What good would it do the world? What good would it do my sons? Because I'm still a parent to them. I'm still, you know, the leader in the house. I still have authority. And so I know I'm ranting right now, but I'm here to say to somebody that needs it is that your life matters. It's not the end of the world, and you have to keep going, and you have to have a decision to do something about your life. Maybe one day your story will be in a book. It can happen if you want it to. I mean, This is the first book, Shattering the Glass House, a memoir. Wrote this some years ago. And someone purchased all 3 books today. And I'm like, I don't even market these books. But hey, somebody wants to read them. So amen to that. And this is the second book that I wrote. You see it. Gratitude is a 31-day affirmation and devotional guide. And then the last book, the latest book, is Glow Up Girl. And this is a 21-day guide to living your best life, basically, from toxic relationships. Because these cycles, y'all, from toxic relationships are crazy. It can be crazy if you don't know how to recognize certain red flags in these abusive relationships, so you don't have to go through it again. And so it's available. It is definitely available on Amazon. It's available on my websites. And something else that I learned from going out and, before Corona, going out and even people asking me in my DMs, how do I get into writing? How do I do this? I want to tell my story. And people be like, oh, I'm just afraid to tell my story. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And so I have come up with an academy. I've come up with an academy, and I've linked up with London Nicole. And she is an image consultant. She's a creative image consultant. And we are linking up. We're doing this group think tank, really, for 40 women that want to actually learn how to write, the business of writing books. And also, everybody needs PR, whether you're in the church, whether you're, a public figure, everybody, because I know some of y'all see certain things people do, whether it's celebrities, you watching somebody live, you just have a cringe moment, like, where are their friends telling them that they need to sit down and hush, or, work that out and don't be on live? We all see it. And so what London Nicole does, she's worked with celebrity clients, and she has people, that makes, that's $1 million, to the person that's the 9 to 5. So she has a different range of clients. And with the PR and knowing what to do, get your media training. From me, you'll learn how to write your books. You'll learn how to be confident in being out here, because it can be intimidating. I'm going to teach y'all not just how to write a book, but, the processes, that stinking thinking. If y'all been following me long enough, that stinking thinking mindsets that people have when it comes to writing books, when it comes to the writer's block, and when it comes to just certain things about writing and the whole process. If you want it, it's there, it's available. And the classes will start on July 22nd. It's going to be a lot of hands-on. Myself and Nicole, we're going to accept 40 women in. And these 40 women, it's going to be a group of us learning, and we're going to be teaching you guys how to write your books, how to, be prepared for the media, how to get out here and make sure that you are lining up to your brand. Make sure that you know how to come out here, right? You know how to market, you know what to do to be a bestseller, and some of the, the know-hows as far as, should I do this book with all 30 people in it? Should I, something like that? I'm going to talk about it. And so we're going to have fun as well. We're going to have a book launch, and it's going to be amazing. It really is. And I'm so excited to be able to help and to push, because I'm a pusher. Anybody that work with me, I'm going to push you. I'll hold your hand for a little bit, and I will push you to write your book. And so I'm really excited about that. And I'm just really excited about what God is doing, because I know that, in these times that we're in, and it could be really hard, and Corona in some way or form is affecting people, it's affecting families, and we got to take it serious. And it's not about just being inconvenienced, it's about saving lives. We got to wear these masks, and we got to take it serious, y'all. But the stories that you have and the stories that you've been sitting on for years and not knowing, what to do, and you're feeling overwhelmed. Some of y'all have been sitting on books. I know some of y'all personally sitting on books for years, and you're afraid to get them out. And all you got to do is just make a decision, even though it might seem complicated because you don't know how to do this, that, and the third. But really, all it takes is for you to just push, go out there. And you're going to make some mistakes. That's how you learn, by just going forward and really getting into it and not being afraid. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. He gave us power, love, and a sound mind. So if he's given us power and the authority to do that, let's get with it and not be afraid, not be scaredy cats, not have excuses, not be lazy. Whether it's writing a book or establish some kind of business, we all need to be about our business and not be afraid. Not be afraid. You got to start where you are. Just like the that quote from Arthur Ashe, start where you are. It may not be in your budget to have a $5,000 photo shoot, but start where you are. But make sure it's done with some excellence, because it's still your brand and your image at the end of the day. Not just the pretty quotes and the pretty scripts and fonts and logos and all of that. It's more to business to that. Let's get our hands dirty. Let's do the work. Let's not say, oh, I receive it, I receive it, I receive it, when it comes to prophecies and you establishing businesses and not doing any work when nobody's looking. We got to be entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are people that makes money from their businesses and services. So for anybody that wants to join the Glam Zone, is what it's called. I don't even think I said it. But anybody that wants to join the Glam Zone, you can go to that link tree, that whole link, and you can be able to log in. You can get your seat in there. It's only $2.97. You're getting 12 weeks with Nicole, London Nicole, and myself. You're getting 12 weeks with us total. And we're going to go down. You're going to write your book. We got already our graphics people, so you can have your cover. We're going to talk about editing. Like, you're getting all that. Your PR stuff. Me and Nicole has been talking about this for, quite some time. So it's not just something that came up. We've been talking about working with each other for quite some time. And, when we got into, these quarantine times, it's like no better time than this. Some of y'all have been telling me, I know personally, I want to write a book. We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to cheer each other on, and we're going to be there to help each other. And so we don't know it all. And we never want to be in a place where we arrived, because none of us have really arrived. We're still growing each day until our last breath on this earth. So we got to remain humble, because humble is the way. And so with all that, the stories of, domestic violence, and, what really got me out of that situation was the near-death experience. And I got tired. And when a woman has her mind made up, then things can change. When a man has his mind made up, then things can change. Because I was nearly choked to death in that situation. And when he released his hands, I looked at him in his eyes and asked him, do you want your sons to do what you're doing to me right now? And I guess he had a blackout moment, and it just hit him. And I knew then that I can't be a superhero to this man. He doesn't want to change. The cycles are still continuing on. And I have to do this so I can live, and so I can see my kids become men that God has created them to be. And so I can be a good mother, regardless of his issues, his personal issues that he couldn't sort out. If he didn't want to sort them out, it was time to go. And so what I do, because so many of y'all be like, oh, she's selling TLC. She's a director, by the way, in Total Life Changes. It's not about just Nutriverse. We're sponsored by NRG, some energy supplements, and it's all natural. That Delgado coffee I was talking about at the beginning of this, and it's detox tea that I'm gonna finish drinking before I go to sleep after I finish doing what I do. So, it's bigger than that. The vision is clearer than me just selling books, me selling teas, me selling NutriBirds, because at the end of the day, it's going to be for the nonprofit, for people to have safe houses, for families to have safe houses to go to. Because unfortunately, abuse and domestic violence situations are still going on. And from the reports that I've read, even though I don't talk about it publicly, there's been an increase in abuse since the world has been shut down. And so you got to know your why. You have to know your why. When you get up every day and when you give your gratitude to God or whoever you serve, just to say thank you is enough before you start murmuring, before you start complaining, before you get on social media and talk about, whatever the world wants you to be mad at for that particular day. Have some gratitude and just be thankful that, you're here. You have breath in your body. That's a big deal. Your very life is a big deal. So don't get caught up. Don't get too caught up. Yeah, you can care about the injustices of the world, but don't let it consume you. Don't let CNN, Fox News, or whatever you watch consume you and your emotions. Yeah. Anyways, hashtag Breonna Taylor. But we're tired of the hashtags. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. Yeah, the murals and the paintings. No shade to the artists out there. It was cute, but it was a distraction. Let's get back to convicting these people that's doing wrong. White, black, indifferent. But Black Lives Matter. They do. And that's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. Yeah, any day that you wake up to see his light is a good day. It's a very good day. Amen. Yeah, it is. It really is. But you have to have a why. When you have a why, you'll have some clarity. Let's not walk around life and think that, we're doing it on our own. Let's not walk around in life thinking that you don't have a purpose. Life is bigger than just working a 9-to-5 and not having time for your family. Now, some people got to work and some people are comfortable with working, and there's nothing wrong with working at a 9-to-5. But if you feel like you need to tell your story in a format of a book, I want you all to join the Glam Zone. It is for 40 women. That's our demographic that we're working with. And if you want to work with me, if you're a man and you want some coaching, you can DM me, you can email me, and we'll get the ball rolling. Because I'm not gonna cancel out no coins, okay? I'm not. And or if you want to work with me in TLC, you can make some money at home with Total Life Changes. You can go to that linktree in that on the banner, and we can work some things out. Because I'm not doing this on my own. It requires a team. So I say all that to say your voice matters. Share your testimony. You can start off there, talk about it. You can share a podcast. When you create a book, that's marketing. That's marketing material. That's an icebreaker. Oh, you have a book? What is it about? And that can lead into a conversation. That can lead into, some networking going on. So many people, they want to go up instead of doing this in a lateral way. So when you help your brother, your sister, and you have the conversations, you never know where it can lead. We're not doing this thing called life on our own, guys. God has created community. So let's be kingdom minded and walk some things out and work some things out. But the transformation, it takes place within first. It takes place within first. We have to take, if you haven't already, in these quarantine times, take a good hard look at yourself so that you can change. When you do the transformation, that's when your perspective change. Just like when I was in the abusive relationship, and it's been 10 years since I've left that abusive relationship. But with the healing, with the things that has happened after the fact, when I got healed, when things got better for me, and then when I started dating again, my palate changed because I was aware of certain things within me, that might have attracted something that wasn't healthy for me. Your eyes, in a way, your perspective on life will change. So whatever your situation is that you're dealing with right now is a situation, but how you answer your situation is what matters. How are you going to answer your situation? How do you want your 7/8/2021 to look like? Because if you're still in the same spot after all this shutdown, after all this stuff that we're dealing with, and by now, COVID-19, if it hasn't affected you directly, it has affected somebody that's close to you. So what are you going to do about it? Some things give you fuel to your fire. What's that thing that's going to give you the fuel to your fire? And how are you going to change? It don't take a million years to do it. We have least time on earth. Your life is precious. So do something with your life that's meaningful to you and meaningful for the things, your pain points. What's your pain points? What ticked you off? What, is it injustice? Is it, domestic violence? Is it, child abuse? What's your pain points? Your pain points are going to be the answers to your purpose. But you have to wake up and you have to have a call to action and you have to do something about it. It's not complicated, guys. We have to humble ourselves and get the know-how, get the acumen, and invest. It's not a cuss word. Invest in the things that's going to help us. If you have a business bone in your body, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be an author, let's invest in ourselves. We can invest in hair, especially. We can invest in hair. We can invest in looking good on the outside and stunt for the gram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Your red bottoms, your Chanels, whatever, that don't even matter right now. Your voice is what's going to attract people to you. Your voice, by you speaking up, is what's going to help somebody out of a situation. Your voice is going to help somebody else. Your voice is going to bring the sale and the transaction to you if you open your mouth and speak about it. Because you cannot sell a secret. You don't just put a book out there and say, hey, I did a book. Can you buy it? The numbers drop, you see? The energy. You got to be excited about the birth, the baby, the book baby that you pushed out, because it can be painful. So I'm going to talk about that in the Glam Zone. And you can go right on Linktree. On the link is the first little thing on there, the Glam Zone. And you can get your seat and you can lock in. It's 40 women. We're not doing this again until 2021 because this is a lot of work, but we want to help women. And it's going to be a cool thing, and it's going to be nice. And I'm excited about it because so many of y'all have asked me, you know, when the course is coming out, and I got lazy. I was procrastinating, but it's coming out now. So there's a lot of blessings in these quarantine times, and you got to count your blessings at the end of the day. You got to count, you know, how life is for the better, regardless of whatever situation you're in. So that's really all, because it's 107. See, this is past my bedtime, but I'm up and I'm working on some stuff, and it's all good. But how do you want your 7/8/2021 to look like? I'm going to end it with that question. How do you want your 7/8/2021 to look like? And on another level, when your grandkids ask you, how did you manage in the year 2020? Because this is one hell of a year. How did you manage 2020? How did you manage that? What did you do? You know, what was your wake-up call? Was you really about that life, or was you just lip service? Do something. Do something. Turn off this CNN, turn off this Fox News, whatever you watch. Turn off your timelines. Get off social media. Stop watching and do. Stop watching and do. These folks ain't going nowhere. If they're not helping, it's hurting you. So, I've been on here for 37 minutes. That's long enough. Anybody want to join the Glam Zone and learn how to write a book, learn some PR, learn what it is to brand and market? It's over 10 years collectively between Nicole and myself. Shout out to London Nicole. But we put some skin in this game, and we want to help, and we want to push, and we want to deliver. So if you want to get on, get on. But I say all that to say, you can't have a story without your voice. Your voice may come with a pen. It may come with, a few books. It may come with all this. What's your legacy going to look like? What's your legacy going to look like, ladies and gentlemen? It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. Somebody needs to hear your voice. Somebody needs to hear your testimony. Because this situation that you're in right now is not going to look the same. It's not going to look the same in 2021 if you make a decision. We can't be in church. And I'm going to end for real, because this is like church when y'all be like, oh, they going to end, but they said it 5 minutes ago. I'm going to end for real this time. We can't be in church and say, oh, I receive it. Oh, the word is good. We got to eat the word and consume the word and be transformed by the word. Not just for play, not just for show, not just for Facebook, not just for Instagram, but really be about this life. Not for a platform, but for what God wants us to do. And that first thing is the commandment where it says, love God. And I'm remixing, but you love God, love your neighbor as yourself, and love God, but love your neighbor as yourself. If you love your neighbor as yourself, then a lot of this hatred and crazy stuff wouldn't go on. People fear what they don't understand. People fear what they don't understand. So get out of fear, get out of being lazy, get out of fear, get out of doubt, get out of second guessing, get out of double-mindedness, and get into a decision. That's where your fruit is. That's where the fruit is. When you go out on that limb, that's where the fruit is. When you make a decision, that's where the fruit is. When you don't care and you're free from the opinions of other people, that's where the fruit is. By being free. So be free on the night. Find a way of escape if you're one of those people that's being abused. Find a way of escape. Pray about it, and God will make a way for you. He did it for me. He did it for me. I asked. I prayed when I didn't know what else to do, and I got out. Your voice matters. You matter. So let's do something with your life and live life abundantly. I love you all. Have an amazing night. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. You can find me on social media platforms. I know we were live on Facebook, also on YouTube and Periscope. Have an amazing night. Know that your voice matters. You matter. You are a big deal to God. You're not little, old, whatever. You're a big deal to God. So do something about your life. Make a decision. Do something with your life. 7/8/2021 will not look like today. Have an amazing night. Get some rest. Love you all. Talk to y'all soon.